Hello and welcome to Mini Adventures. This is this month's extra video, and it is how I personally make my flat minis, standees, whatever you want to call them. One way or another, it's a picture printed out, cut out, and then turned into a miniature. And so this is the sheet that has all the miniatures. There's a couple things that I need to go back in and edit to fix because I'm not 100% happy with it. Don't worry, that'll be done before anything gets published. So what I do is I cut it out, right? So take them, cut out some of the cut them out following the lines. The previous page was a earlier print off before I realized that I didn't have the lines put onto the minis, which I like having the lines. Number one, it gives me a good reference for where to be cutting at. It gives me a good reference for when I go to fold them. And again, these printouts are test copies. I didn't want to utilize a bunch of my paper and ink, printing out again new ones with updated stuff and fixed stuff on it. But one of the things I'm going to be doing is making the borders a little bit thicker. So one way or another, I'm cutting them all out. And one thing that you'll notice about these is they have this little tab down here. And what that tab is for, it's a theoretical thing. We're going to be finding out how necessary it actually is. Kind of meant as a grip to help keep things from falling forward and backwards. And so I cut one more out before starting to film, and so these both are ready to get glued down. So what I use is just some good old chipboard. It is the same stuff that you find at the back of the legal pad. I found this from Wilox Armories. Their channel is phenomenal. I love their channel. Find a lot of fun, inspirational things from them. All we do is we take our character or creature or monster, whatever it is, and we just fold them in half using that line as our goal. I found when testing out the first time with these, I like to fold these little tabs over onto the artwork side and then unfold that big main fold so we just have the rectangle. Do it again with this guy. Again, using this line right here as my guide of where the center is and how to fold. Boom. You'll see that my cutting's not amazing there, but that's all right. And again, I fold tabs inward to the monster side, and then I unfold. From there, what I do is I take a little bit of a glue stick, and I wipe the glue stick onto the plain side of the paper. Now, if you choose to use a thicker cardstock, you could even just fold this over right here, right now, and be done with it. But I don't use a thicker cardstock. I do use this thin computer paper. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to set it onto the chipboard, making sure that that top line is lined up. And then I do my darndest to just push it down and hope that it's even. And honestly, for me, it normally isn't. So I have to come back in and push and pull and prod a bit. So I use this glue stick, and not gonna lie, when I first started getting into the hobby, I originally was using some Elmer's PVA school glue, whatever you want to call it, and it did great. It doesn't do a bad job whatsoever, but it just kind of took forever to dry, and I started watching Crooked Staff videos, and he uses glue sticks for everything, and he swears by them. So I started trying it, and I'm not gonna lie, there are some downsides to it, but those downsides to it are way offset by the pros to it. So that's all we do. Now, rather than continuing to wait for it to dry, I already have a couple glued and dried. Once you've got them glued, I personally always put something heavy on top. But so one of the downsides that I have found with using the glue stick is this right here. We run into this issue where it doesn't always stick great throughout the whole thing. But what I have found is because it sticks very well, that if you just take a little bit more and put it on there, boom, you're good to go. Now all we have to do is cut them out. Now, I know some of you are gonna think, those are fabric shears. You can't use that. Yeah, I know, but they're old fabric shears that I was given by a sewer and told, go ahead and you can use them on whatever you want. And I said, are you sure? And she said, yes. So I have permission from the original owners of these to be using them in this fashion. They saw their life as sewing shears, but to be honest with you, they are good. They are strong scissors, and it's kind of sort of what I need when I'm cutting out this chipboard stuff. Now, pro to the chipboard is, number one, I can use regular computer paper. Con to the regular chipboard is I feel like we can't cut out any farther. That being said, especially with this set where only one of the miniatures does not fly, I feel like you can't really go in further and get more detailed cutouts. Some people like going in and like tracing the miniature itself and cutting the miniature completely out so that there's no overhang, no backdrop. And for me, I don't like doing it that way. I guess I like being lazy, maybe is what it is. But I don't mind having the white background on it. And the reason why I leave it as white is because if I make it black, then either A, I have to figure out how this is going to print out on black paper, or B, I have to use a lot of black ink. So these little tabs are brand new to me, by the way. And this happened on another one of the standees that I made with the tabs, and I just happened to cut it off. So I don't know if the tabs are going to stay or if they're going to go. We're going to find out as we move along. So once we have them cut out, we kind of sort of need to put them onto a base. Now, I've seen a couple of minis where if you have these little tabs on them, you could, and you're using the thicker cardstock, you could just utilize that. But again, I'm not using the thicker cardstock. I'm using computer printer paper. So that's not going to work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them onto a base. And what I've used for bases in the past are either A, more chipboard, or B, a washer. And they both have their pros and their cons. I feel like everything that with the washers, it's a heavier base, which I kind of like. But the con to them is once you put it on there, it's hard to go back and paint. So maybe painting it beforehand might be a good choice. Whereas the chipboard, you can paint it, you can color it, you can do something with the base afterwards. I've used hot glue a lot for this. And I'm not going to sit back and say that it's a terrible choice, but what I will say is I do find some cons to using the hot glue. That being said, I've also never used the hot glue with the little tabs on it. So we're going to test that out, and we're going to test it out with the chipboard. So we're just going to throw a little bit of hot glue on, hot glue, and boom, we put it on down, and there it is. So another con to this is, or another con to the chipboards, at least I should say, is that you have to go through and cut out 1 inch by 1 inch squares, which is very possible that this is not 1 inch by 1 inch. Compared to the washer, which is a little bit more expensive, but there's no extra work involved. And so now I'm going to go into what I've started using on this with this project is just some super glue and a accelerator, right? And so if you've been doing crafts or are new to and not started using super glue with accelerant, you need to. And if you're new to crafting, don't be a moron like me and continue to wait. So we just throw a little bit of super glue on, and we then spray the accelerant on down, and we push, and you wait about 3 to 5 seconds, and that's super glued together. And so here's a few more that I made. Again, some on the washer base, some on the chipboard base. And see, there's the con to the chipboard is it's not very bottom heavy compared to washer, which is very bottom heavy. I guess they're both going to fall over. But the washer one takes a lot more force. So there they are. And so here we go with those glamour shops. And I just want to thank you again for checking out the channel. Do me a favor, give me a like on the video and subscribe. Leave comments down below if you've ever used any type of standing miniature like this, flat miniature, homemade minis, whatever you want to call them. I know I love using miniatures, but getting all the 3D printed minis is kind of expensive, and this is a fun, cheap, easy alternative to that. Again, this is Mini Adventures. Thanks for watching.